The G League. The farm league for the NBA has developed so many different talents. All-stars, champions, 20-point per game scorers in the NBA, you name it. The G League has had them. And a lot of these players weren't any of these things before they got there. It didn't used to be called the developmental league for no reason. And the G League is home to countless college stars, etc., grinding to get a shot at the highest level. Some of these guys get there and do well. For others, the step up is just too high. These players are too good for the G League, but not good enough for the NBA. Let's see who these guys are. If you enjoy this video and you enjoy consistent NBA content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll have new videos coming out every Monday and Thursday, so like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of those. Sharif Cooper was once the 19th ranked player in the 2020 high school class, dominating high school basketball and becoming one of the more popular players in his class, being on Ball is Life, Overtime, Slam, etc. College was more difficult for Sharif as he struggled with efficiency shooting the ball. This, along with his 6'1" height, led him to be drafted 48th overall in the 2021 NBA draft. Sharif was signed to a two-way contract and spent most of his rookie season in the G League with the Hawks affiliate College Park Skyhawks, where he averaged 17 points, 7 assists in 22 games in the regular season, and 19 points, 5.5 assists in 11 games in the G League Showcase tournament. Here, Sharif looked much more comfortable with the ball overall and shot the ball much better from the field and from three than he did in college. It was clear Sharif was too good for the G League. When Sharif was with the Atlanta Hawks though this season, he wasn't given an opportunity at all really. He only played 13 games all season, where he only played 3 minutes a game and averaged half a point. Pretty tough. This wasn't much of his fault, but in the Summer League this summer, it looked like Sharif would have a real opportunity to showcase himself and solidify some real minutes on an NBA roster this season. But in 5 games in Vegas Summer League, he averaged a quite putrid 4 points on really bad efficiency, where the coaches were practically forced to yank him off the court. That's how bad he was. Sharif was sluggish and didn't really look like any version of himself. I heard he was possibly battling some injuries, which might explain his performances, but nonetheless, they were pretty disappointing. Cooper had signed a two-way contract with the Hawks on July 21st, even after the Summer League, but 4 days later, the Hawks decided to waive him. For Sharif, it's clear he's talented and he's too good for the G League, but in the small opportunities he's had so far, he hasn't taken them. And sometimes that's how it goes for guys fighting to get into the league. I do believe he'll get picked up by some team on a two-way and he'll get another opportunity, but for now, he's too good for the G League, but not good enough for the NBA. Another player who dominated the G League but hasn't been able to successfully jump to the NBA as of yet is 76ers forward Paul Reed. Reed has been dominant in his time in the G League, winning the G League MVP and helping the Delaware Bluecoats to the G League Finals in the 2020-21 season. In 2 seasons in the G League, Reed averaged 22.3 points, shooting almost 60% from the field and 45% from 3. Those are some pretty ridiculous numbers. Reed was drafted 58th overall in 2021 and later signed a two-way contract where he dismantled the G League. After his first G League MVP season, he signed a 3-year, $3.9 million contract with the Sixers. Reed played an okay amount of rotational minutes, but not enough to impress Doc Rivers so he could really play. That season, he only averaged 3.4 points in 7 minutes a game in only 26 games. Last season, it was more the same, as Reed wasn't given a huge opportunity and was sent back down to the G League, where, as I mentioned before, he's way too good for. With the 76ers last season, he averaged 3.1 points in 8 minutes a game in 38 games. Reed was given some opportunity to play some backup center for the Sixers in the playoffs last season, where he played alright, but center really isn't his natural position. Reed is super athletic and really versatile defensively. The problem is the Sixers haven't been playing him at his true power forward position. The reason they may do this is because Reed's jump shot is lacking seriously. Coach Doc Rivers also doesn't seem to be a huge fan of him either, which doesn't help. Out of the players in this video, Reed is the one who's gotten the furthest in the NBA, but he still hasn't cemented himself as a guy who can play rotational minutes in the league. But with a bit more opportunity, Reed can surely make the step up to the NBA and become a very solid NBA player. With his long athletic frame and his defensive versatility, this should happen very soon. Someone who dominated the college game the most in this video, and arguably was the most dominant in the G League season, but hasn't been able to translate this to the NBA, is former Celtics guard Carson Edwards. Edwards torched the NCAA tournament in 2019 with Purdue, with two 42-point games, which led him to be drafted 33rd overall by the Sixers and then traded to the Celtics after the 2019 NBA draft. Edwards signed a multi-year contract with the Celtics and didn't play much with them in his first season, and was assigned to the Maine Red Claws, the Celtics G League affiliate, for a few games. Edwards played 13 games with the Red Claws and averaged a cool 22 points, but this was just the start of his G League dominance. During his time with the Celtics, he didn't show much, where he only averaged 3.6 points on poor efficiency. With the Celtics not getting much from him in the first 2 seasons he played with them, he was traded to the Grizzlies before the start of last season and then waived. Edwards was unable to find an NBA team, so he signed with the Salt Lake City Stars, and this is where Edwards really took over. In the 2021-22 G League regular season, Edwards was the leading scorer of the entire G League, where he averaged a near 27 points a game, shooting 47% from the field and 38% from 3. Edwards looked like his old college self again with the Stars, bombing long threes and showing off his underrated athleticism and finishing ability. And it led to Edwards having one last crack at the NBA, where he signed till the end of the season with the Detroit Pistons. Unfortunately, in 5 games with the Pistons, Edwards couldn't really muster anything to write home about, only averaging 5 points on below poor efficiency. This would be Edwards' last time in the NBA, as this summer Edwards signed a contract with Turkish EuroLeague team Fenerbahce. But why could Edwards not make the leap to the NBA? At 5'11", Edwards was always undersized as a combo scoring guard. Scoring guards like Edwards coming out of college usually struggle in the NBA and are more fit for the G League because it's more like college. Edwards wasn't a great defender either, and because he didn't have the ball in his hands like he did in college, he had trouble putting the ball in the basket, which was his primary attribute. Unfortunately, Edwards, like Sharif Cooper and Paul Reed, hasn't been able to make the permanent leap from the G League to the NBA. But that doesn't mean these guys won't make it to the NBA in the future. It just might take more time than they would have hoped. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.